All right, Algebra 1, we are talking about our study guide or review for the Quarter 3 assessment. This is basically doubling as our Chapter 8 test. So there's going to be a lot of Chapter 8 and then some stuff from last chapter, which is systems of equations. Okay, so going to get a little reminder of all that stuff here. So let's start with these two. We got to understand, first of all, that there's a big difference between number 4, which is multiplication, and then these first two, which are addition and subtraction. Okay, you are not multiplying for the first two. Okay, so for number 1, since it's plus, I don't really have to do anything. I don't need to change anything. All I need to do is combine like terms. Okay, combine, not line, like terms. So that's what we're going to do. Starting with the highest exponent because we want standard form. So highest exponent is 2. 4 plus 4 is 8x squared. And then we've got x and x, so 3 plus 4 is 7x. And then finally 3 plus 2 is 5. And there's nothing else we can do because none of those are like terms. So we're moving on to number 2. Okay, nothing else to it. So on this one, you got a couple options. You can either multiply by -1 or just change that sign to a positive, and then that's going to change all these signs. So that becomes negative, that becomes negative, and that becomes negative. Okay, and now, same thing as the last one. We combine like terms. So 9x to the 5th, negative 3x to the 5th. So 9 minus 3 is 6x to the 5th. And then we've got 5x squared minus 2x squared is positive 3x squared. And then the last one, we've got 8x minus 3x is positive 5x. And there we go. Okay, so that's addition and subtraction. Now we're looking at multiplication. So on this first multiplication problem, it's just a monomial times a polynomial, a trinomial in this case. So in this case, 5 times 3 is 15, and then we add the exponents. So remember, if it doesn't have anything, it's actually a 1. So x to the first, x to the second, 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, and then we go to the next one. 5 times 2 is 10, x to the second, because 1 plus 1. Okay, and then the last one, 5 times 4 is 20, and we didn't have anything to add to the x, so it just stays as x to the first. And that's it. Again, no like terms, so we're done. Okay, so now when you look at something like number 4, this is binomial times binomial. So like we talked about in class, we need to make sure to multiply the first one times both of the other parentheses. So starting out with 3 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared. Now we go here. 3 times 5 is 15, nothing to add to the x, so that's just x. Now I look at the second term. 1 times 2 is 2, x stays x, and then 1 times 5 is 5, no variable. And so once we end up multiplying both things, you get your 4 terms. Look for like terms. Well, the only like terms we have are in the middle. So 6x squared, 15 plus 2 is 17x, and then plus 5. And there we go. So that's 1 through 4. So the last two on that page, this one has to do with division, and then the last one on this page actually starts with the systems. So in this case, remember we're dividing the numbers and subtracting the exponents. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5, so x to the 5th. Then I go to the second term. 15 divided by 5 is positive 3. 4 minus 1 is 3 for my exponent. And then the last one, 10 divided by 5 is positive 2. X minus x is going to be, 1 minus 1 is 0, so that x cancels out. And that's my final answer. Okay? So that's polynomials. That's all there is to that. So make sure if you have questions on that, you're asking. And then let's look at the systems. So going back to systems, remember our two methods are substitution and elimination. Okay, so substitution is used when there's something already by itself. So in this first case, I'm actually going to use substitution because x is by itself. So since x equals 5y, I'm going to replace 5y in the other equation. So instead of x plus 2y, it's going to be 5y plus 2y equals 21. And so 5y plus 2y is 7y equals 21. Divide by 7, I get y equals 3. Okay? And so I'm not done yet. Remember, there's x and y. So I got to plug that back in. I get x equals 5 times 3, and so x equals 15. So my final answer is 15, 3 for my point, x comma y. Okay? So let's go to the back side and finish up. This one, same deal. This time I'm going to use elimination because elimination is used to get opposites so that they cancel out. They eliminate. So in this case, right away I notice 6 and negative 6 are already opposites, so I don't need to change anything. 6 minus 6, or 6 plus negative 6, cancels. 7 plus 3 is 10y. And then 58 plus negative 18 is going to be 40. And so I divide by 10 to get my y value. Y equals 4. And now I just have to plug it back into one of these two. I'm just going to choose the bottom one. So I've got negative 6x plus 3 times 4 equals negative 18. So 3 times 4 is 12. And so I'm going to subtract 12 to get x by itself. And I get negative 6x equals negative 30. And so when I divide by negative 6, negative divided by negative is positive 5. And there's my final variable. So 5, 4 is the point. Final answer. Okay? That's substitution and elimination. Okay, so when you're looking at this one, it's actually asking for a specific step. Okay, so when it says, what is the first step in solving the system of equations below using the elimination method? The first step is to get opposites. Well, in this case, if I'm looking at this, I would want to make x or y to equal one of those two. So for me, I'm probably going to multiply by negative 4 to make those cancel. Okay, so fill in the blank. First step would be to multiply the top equation, or first equation, by negative 4. And then it doesn't say to solve, it just says what's the first step. So that's all. Okay, and so our last problem here is a story problem. It says your family goes to Chicago's Pizza for dinner. Some order pepperoni pizza for $5 a slice, and some order sausage pizza for $4 a slice. The total bill is $38. There are 8 people in your family. Write a system of equations to determine the number of family members who ate pepperoni and the number of family members who ate sausage. So right away I know my x and y, but in this case they're using p and s. So I'm going to use p for pepperoni and s for sausage. Okay, so to find the variables, p equals pepperoni pizzas and S represents sausage pizzas. Okay, so finish setting up the equations. What equation should go in the gray box? So in that case, I've got two totals, like we've talked about a lot in class. We've got a total amount of people, which is the one they already said, and the total amount of money. So 38 is the total amount of money, and you add up the money plus money. So 5P plus 4S for the price of each equals a total of 38. Okay, so that's what I would put in the gray box. So here it would be 5P plus 4S equals 38. Okay, and so step 3, solve. So now I got to solve for how many of each. So P plus S equals 8. Now I'm going to, just like we just did on the other one, multiply by something to get those to cancel. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by -4. Or let's do -5. I feel like most of you would do -5. So I'm going to rewrite the top one. That one doesn't change. And then the bottom one is -5 times P, -5 times S equals -40. Okay? And so the P cancels out. 4 minus 5 is -1S equals -2. 38 plus -40. So divide by -1, I get S equals 2 sausage pizzas. Okay? Or 2 family members got 2 sausage. There was 2 family members that got sausage. And so when you plug that back in, I've got P plus 2 equals 8. So there's a total of 8 people. So that means 6 people got pepperoni. I'm also a sausage guy myself. A lot of you probably like pepperoni, but I think I like sausage pizza better. So, finish up, solve, and it says people ate sausage. That's 2 people ate sausage, and 6 people ate pepperoni. Okay? And that's it. That would be your quarter 3 assessment. Okay? So if you have more questions, be sure to go back to the video or get on Zoom or ask me a question, and I'll be able to help you out. Okay? Let me know. Peace.